I'm here with actor Alfredo Narciso, who is currently starring on Manifest. I did not see last night's episode.
You know what? Neither did I. So we're on the same boat.
You'll
So it's
know
like-
whether you made it out of the episode. So if you have filmed more since that point,
Yeah.
I will
Mom's the
assume
word,
that you're
okay.
currently still airing on Manifest.
That's good.
Before we talk about that, that was a nice spoiler-free way to start.
there
the
we go.
interview.
Right, exactly.
We don't want you to get. Well, they're done filming, so you don't have to worry about anything
Right.
happening. So
we don't,
let's
yeah.
that you know. Let's talk a little bit about when you first decided you wanted to be an actor. Did you go to school for it? Did you
Sure.
come specifically to New York for it?
Yeah, I mean, it's this story that I've told a couple times now because it's funny. I had done like little radio plays when I was like in grade school and stuff like that. But when I was in high school, I was primarily a musician. But my older sister had done theater in high school, and I guess somebody had dropped out of the school play. So the assistant director, she knew that my sister had acted, so she came up to me and she said, "Would you be interested in doing this play? We just lost an actor," and so I didn't have to audition or anything. So I just went ahead and just jumped right into the role. I still have that script. It's from Philip King's See How They Run, and the guy wrote "I Quit" on the front of the script, so I still have that.
That's funny.
And so that was my
That's
that was my actual stage debut, was doing this weird farce where I played this Russian guy dressed up as a priest, or vicar, I should say. And I totally fell in love with it then. And then I did end up going to school for it, University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. But I wasn't actually a theater major right away because I didn't think that it was like possible to like actually be an actor and all of that. So then I finally, after about a year and a half of doing it and doing plays, I was like, you know what, I have to do this. So then I switched my major to theater, and then it was off to the races from there. So.
Now, when you first started working professionally, did you start with theater once you came here to New York, or did you dabble in all three genres?
It was actually it was a kind of a mixture actually in the beginning, because when I first came here, I worked down at the Flea Theater, which is in Tribeca. It was Jim Simpson's theater, and so I worked with him and doing tons of plays over there at that time. But then I also I did a film. It was my first film ever. It was actually Maureen Stapleton's last film.
Okay.
She was in that. It was called Living and Dining, and that was shot up in the Berkshires. And it was so that kind of happened around the same time while I was first doing theater, and then I did this film. And so I kind of had my foot in both worlds. But then I pretty much did theater for a long time, and then only in the last maybe 7 or 8 years have I been doing more film and television than theater.
And now, fans who are watching this interview will obviously recognize you, but for the people who don't know your work, you have done a ton of episodic work, and sometimes you're clean shaven, like you are in Manifest. Sometimes you are like you're very ugly Betty-esque right now. So what was it like? You've been in some really big shows, and you've been on a lot of them. So why don't you pick a couple of your standout shows or characters for whatever reason, whether it was that you were recurring and it was more than a one guest star shot like you are on Manifest right now, or why don't you take us down?
Let me think here. I mean, obviously, House of Cards jumps out, and one of the big reasons for that is not because of all of the unpleasantness that has happened recently, but because that was shot down in Baltimore, and so like being away from the city. Wow, that was great. There's a bowling alley above us. I love it.
I love New York City
I
interviews.
hope they're
People,
doing well.
You have no idea what might fall through the floor.
Fantastic.
Your last interview on film.
Nice. Yeah, so being down in Baltimore, like that, it's always just great to be working out of town and on location, and that was great. And so like being with that group of actors down there, and working, it's so secretive, or at least it was while we were shooting there. Like, we were just shuffled off to this sort of secret location, and there was like a secret name for the location. I can't remember what it was called at this time, but everything was just so under wraps. And then afterwards, we'd all go back to the hotel, and we would just like have drinks in the lobby and talk politics and everything. And it was just like, that was a great.
Was that back before the tragedy that's befalling America right now?
Yeah, well, yes, it was actually. Yes, it
was a little bit less taboo than it is now to talk about.
But that it's funny because then that goes along with Homeland at the same time, because I also shot that, and when I first did that, when we first shot that first episode, I think that character was supposed to recur a lot more heavily, but Donald Trump became president, so they had to change the whole idea for the show because Elizabeth Marvel is not to be a spoiler alert. I think people know that
pretty sure
is the president of that season, and so they had to recalibrate things because of that. So that's funny in that way.
Yeah.
Because House of Cards actually became more. It actually made more sense with Donald Trump. Like people thought, like it's so outrageous what these people are doing, but no, actually,
it's actually very true to life. Just
very,
a few years prior.
Exactly.
Now you've done Elementary, you've done Madam Secretary. Do you prefer being New York based? A lot of the shows you've done are here on the East Coast.
Yeah, pretty much. I love being in New York.
Yeah.
I mean, and when I first graduated from college, I was like, oh, do I go to LA? Do I go to New York? My sister lives in LA, actually. I've spent time out there. My manager's out there. I do love it out there, but there's just something about New York. It's just more gritty. And then there is a theater community here, and I'm a member of a lot of different theater companies, so it's nice I always have my hand, in some project at some time. It's just more fun.
Is it always for theater? Is it always
It is, and it's
acting-based?
not, because I do have also a film production company with a few friends too, and we've made a couple films together, so I also do that as well as the theater stuff. So, yeah.
Do you like being on the other side of the camera and doing that?
I do, actually, and I think a big part of that is actually very helpful to me as an actor too, because you stop taking it so personally.
Yeah.
Because you do understand that as a producer, like, you do have to make a lot of tough decisions, and casting is very important. And sometimes, a really great actor will just take the wrong tack on a role or on a scene in the execution, and then so it's not that somebody did a bad job or anything. It's just that you just have to go in there and rework it somehow, and it's that is great, and that has illuminated things for me as an actor.
In terms of theater, do you like the immediate reaction that you get from an audience, as opposed to just the crew maybe reacting, and then half the time they're probably doing their own job, they don't really give them
I mean, that's exactly what it is. They're just
like
they kind of don't care in many ways.
Yeah.
I mean, they're always like super nice, especially the crew for Manifest. They're awesome, and like I get along with those guys really great, and everybody's super friendly. But yeah, everybody has a job to do, so they're actually not even really paying attention to the performance, quite honestly. It's just the producers and the director that are really concerned about that, and they have too many hats that they're wearing too, so you're like, you don't get any reaction there. So that is the joy of doing live theater. And also you're steering the ship, like you are in charge of it. As soon as the curtain goes up or the lights go up, you're in charge. So.
Do you enjoy, since you've done so many guest starring roles, some that, like I mentioned, were recurring, do you like playing the same character? Obviously for job security and like financially, obviously it's better. But in terms of an artistic point of view, do you like it better to portray different characters? Almost like theater is a different performance every night. You're almost, while you're the same character, it's a different audience, so you're kind of a different character.
Well, see, but that is the real joy of theater acting. Actually, is I think that the theater community is more. I don't want to say forgiving of an actor, but more giving of an actor. Like they will allow you to do more different things, and they will suspend their disbelief more and allow you to do. So you can push yourself more in theater. And every night you go out on stage, like you get to play around. Whereas like you have a given amount of takes that you're going to do, in film and TV, and so you don't want to be like too outlandish. So and you are more pigeonholed in film and TV than you are on the stage. Just are.
And you're currently airing on Manifest. I know the show has wrapped production for season 1, and fingers crossed for a season 2.
Yeah, I hope
What's
so.
it been like working on that project? Primarily your scenes, at least thus far that have aired, are with Melissa and JR.
Yep.
So what's it like working with the two of them and kind of being in charge of them?
Well, they're great. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
Those two. And JR and I didn't work together, but we were both on Jessica Jones prior, like during that season. So we had that in common coming in. And but they have so much fun, those two, and they're fun to watch together, and just how they joke around together. And so we have like a nice rapport, but also it's very professional. And it is weird because I'm a recurring role, but they're series regulars, but yet I am their boss. And so that's kind of funny. And it's just weird to me that I have this office at Silver Cup Studio, like with pictures of me and my family, and it's like more real estate than my actual apartment, and you're just like, this is crazy, but like that's just how it is. And, but it's been a real gift in terms of television. Like that is something that I knew that I had steady work for a given amount of time.
Right.
Like I didn't know exactly when I was gonna be, doing an episode, but they would pin me far enough ahead of time and be like, oh, I have this coming up, so that's good to know, and that's just a good feeling.
Since you're kind of isolated with what we've seen with JR and Melissa, did you read the entire scripts? Were you given the entire scripts?
Yeah.
So you can see why the show itself is a hit with viewers and how exciting it is.
Absolutely, it's great. And I did have a scene with both Josh and Athena too, in the last episode, not the one that just aired, but the one before. So I did get to work with those guys, and they're fantastic too. And like I've worked with Daryl Edwards, who's amazing. I don't know if you've interviewed him, but he's great. So yeah, like it's just cool to be able to work with all these people, and everyone's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
What do you have going on now? Are you auditioning? Are you working on something now? Are you doing theater? What do you got your hand in?
Totally. Yeah, I'm in the reading workshop audition hamster wheel right now. So as it goes. And, yeah, I mean, I've just been doing mostly readings and workshops these days, and as you know, like pilot season is upon us right now, so I will be auditioning for things like that. But then we'll see what happens. I'm a free agent, and so we'll see where the wind blows.
Well, since we can't talk about Manifest any further because we can't give anything away, hopefully there's an opportunity for you if the show is picked up.
That sounds good to me.
To come back.
I'm cool with that.
If not, don't say. Growing up and later, when you decided you did want to become an actor, was there somebody that you not emulated but kind of looked to and were inspired by? And in the same actually reverse of that, how does it feel now that you're established and you've done so much that younger actors may now be looking to you as somebody to emulate and to make their career go in the same direction as yours?
Yeah, I tell them not to.
Yeah.
No, and I'm kidding, of course. But to answer the first part of the question, like I just, watching Al Pacino's films, like from the 70s, that whole group of work that he did then was just so inspiring to me. And then, and now I'm a member of the Actors Studio now, so I like been able to see him like speak over there, and so like that's cool to be part of that community.
Right.
Now, looking back when I used to like be like, oh, this guy, and now like I'm part of that community. And as far as like people who, look at me that way, I think that's funny. But also I would want to be approachable to them and say like, yeah, come, let's go grab a cup of coffee and let's talk about, because everybody has their own path,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
And so like just helping someone figure out what their voice is and what they want to achieve, and then they can figure out, I can hopefully help them figure out how to achieve that on their own,
Is there, you've done so much work, as I mentioned repeatedly, is there a certain genre of film or television or a certain type of character that you have not been cast as that you would like to play? I go for the hard question at the end. I lull you in with the easy stuff. And then
totally. And then you just hit me over the head. It's like I'm waiting for that bowling ball to hit right now.
Tears in about 30 seconds.
That sounds good. Gosh, it's funny because I feel like every project that I audition for or that I get, I always just look at it as a fresh challenge. There are always similarities and dissimilar attributes in every role that you play, but I always look at it as a fresh start. And so I guess I'm just waiting to see what the next thing will be, and then that will be the thing that I'm going to be like, oh, here we go.
Did you have to do the prerequisite horror film when you were coming up?
I never, I don't think I did, although I did do a couple scenes in The Dark Tower, the Stephen King thing. I don't know if you'd really call that a horror movie, but so I'll say then yes.
Well, Alfredo, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to meet up with me. It's been a real pleasure interviewing you.
Likewise.
And as the season progresses and comes to a conclusion, hopefully you're not 6 feet under as it wraps up. Only you know for sure. Thank you so much, Alfred. It was a pleasure.
Take care.